we're going to talk about my concert. Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. So this is like my first sitting down video, and my past 4 videos have all been vlogs of me and Disney. And yes, I love Disney and I think that it will be a huge part of this channel, but I don't want to only be limited to Disney. So I'm also going to do like stuff like stories and concert experiences, stuff like that. In today's video, we're going to talk about my VIP Souncheck experience with 5 Seconds of Summer. But I just want to say that I'm not bragging at all. I'm just saying my experience, and also I know a lot of people are asking me, so that's why I am saying this. Okay? So please don't think I'm bragging. Trust me, I'm not. On Sunday, August 30th, 2015, in New Jersey, I had VIP to see 5 Seconds of Summer. We're sitting there and, you know, we're just talking to some of the girls, and so we make friends with these 2 girls in particular, Colleen and Arceli. So we're like, alright guys, you know what, there's 4 of us, so for Souncheck, let's sit together. We're waiting online, it's about 4 o'clock, and we see Hey Violet come down. I know a lot of people don't like Hey Violet, but I personally do, and I didn't want to be rude. So I was like, hi. And Mia was like, hi, and then Casey like literally stopped in front of me and he's like, hey, how are you? And I was like, I'm good. Yeah. I knew who they were, but I just didn't like know their music, so I was like, why is this guy like stopping right in front of me to just like greet me? But they're so nice. Like, so then it's like we see that, you know, the sponsor has a few winners, and also people that know someone that work with 5 Sauce got to go in the first 2 rows of Souncheck. So even if you got there as early as we did, the closest you get was 3rd row. So I was like really annoyed. I was like, oh my god, but then like I can see perfectly, I'm still close, so I'm okay with this. And they seated us. When they sat down, the closest one to me was Ashton. I've never seen them on their own tour, so I was super excited. I was like, oh my god, this is such a big deal, like this place is like huge, and just they're gonna be so happy. So I was like, yay. And then I wait, and then they come out, and I was like, I'm not gonna scream because, you know, I need to calm down. So I didn't scream when they came out, but I was just like choosing how I was. But it's a different story when they started performing, because I'm like rocking out. I'm like, yeah. They sang Heartache on the big screen, and I was like so excited. I was like, this is great. Callum like kept looking at me, and I was like, oh my god, like why is this boy looking at me? Like stop looking at me. Like I hate looking at people in the eye that I like love. Like, oh my god, I couldn't even look at them. I was like, God forbid I got asked if I was chosen to ask a question. I would have been like, oh, so how do you like, and they'd be like, I'm over here, and I'd be like, yeah, I know you're there, I just don't want to look at you. I get really nervous when people look at me, so I'm like, yeah, no. So Luke's my favorite, by the way. I don't know if I said that. So the security guard was like, alright, we're gonna have a few questions now. Make sure they're really good questions, nice and original. Think that your question isn't good, then just don't ask it. And I was like, okay. They didn't choose people who were like in the middle. They only chose people who were like on the sides or like in the back that the girl could easily get to. But I was like, you know what, whatever. They were asking really like annoying questions though, because they were making such a big deal that they had to be great questions. And then when these girls would ask the questions, they'd be like, what's your favorite color? What's your favorite dessert? And then one girl was like, if you could wake up with amnesia, what would you do? And I was just like leave it to the interviewers to ask questions like this that are so basic. And not to mention, that amnesia question is literally in every single interview when amnesia came out, and it's still asked to this day. So I'm like, why would you ask that? But whatever, not my choice. So this is the seating arrangement. It was Michael, Luke, Callum, Ashton. They're all sitting like this. We didn't really have a catwalk. It was like a 2-foot catwalk, but I guess, yeah, that's where they were sitting, like their feet were dangling. So this girl goes, oh, if you could be any Disney character, what would you be? And as you all know from my channel, I love Disney. Alright, yes, I'm like curious to hear this. So Michael was like, are you asking this because like Disney just bought Star Wars and Marvel, so can I choose one of those characters? And like he was like waiting for the girl to answer, but she didn't really answer. I don't think she noticed that he was talking to her, so he just kind of didn't answer the question. And you know, I'm like really into this because I'm like, yes, like I love this. And then like out of nowhere, like Luke turns to me and he goes, "Is Rapunzel Disney?" And I'm like, why are you asking me? Like, obviously I'm not gonna keep him waiting, so I was like, yeah. And he was like, oh, okay. So I choose for Rapunzel for no particular reason. And then like he looks at me and starts laughing, and I was like, babe, like thank you for asking me that. Like, I'm glad I could help. So then Callum was looking at me while Luke was talking to me, asking me about Rapunzel. So then Callum was like, I would choose Milo from Atlantis. And I was like, whoa, like, because Milo from Atlantis, like that movie Atlantis is really like underappreciated and stuff, so unless you like really know like your old Disney, like even like the low-key movies, like you're not gonna know what movie that is. Like I don't even think I've seen it ever since I was like 4 years old, so I was like, whoa. And then he's like, yeah, I know, right, it's different. And I was like, yeah, it's different. So I was like, oh my god, like what is happening right now? And Ashton has this, like, I guess they all had earpieces. Most of them took it out though, except for Ashton. That like the microphones were super low for the girls that were in the crowd asking the question. So I guess the earpiece was to connect to hear what the girls were like saying. Ashton couldn't hear anything, but Ashton's the closest one. He's like literally like right across from me. So Ashton was like, I still get confused with the whole Pixar Disney thing, but like, you know what I would be? I would be the lamp in the beginning of all the Pixar movies. He was like, that's my favorite part. And Luke was like, the movie hasn't even started yet. And he was like, he's like, yeah, but I love that lamp. I was sitting like, it was Colleen, Arceli, me, and then Anya. And Anya, Arceli, and Colleen were all going like this to show that Pixar and Disney are like the same thing, like Disney owns Pixar. So they're going like this, but they're all looking at us like so confused, like what the hell, like what's going on right now, because all you see is like this. So Ashton doesn't hear anything, like I said, and because they weren't really talking that loud anyway, but I mean like Ashton couldn't hear, so he was like, what? And I was like, you know what, let me like help these people out. So I was like, Pixar is Disney, and then like Ashton was like, what? And I was like, Disney owns Pixar. Michael was like, oh, it's Disney Pixar. And we were all like, yeah. And Luke and Callum were like, oh. And Ashton was like, thank you for explaining that. And I was like, you're welcome. Any freaking time. Literally. The fact that I like got to talk to them and then it was about Disney, I was like, my 2 favorite things, 5 Seconds of Summer and Disney. I was like, I was so excited. And then they played She's Kinda Hot. Enjoy it because they're right there and let me have a great time. So I was like, yes, jamming out, and then they left. And the actual concert started. There was like no one sitting in the front row to watch Hey Violet, and a lot of people weren't paying attention, so I was like, let's go, Anya, let's go watch Hey Violet in the front and dancing to their song. I was just having a great old time, and Raina kept laughing, and I was like, yes, Baze, yes, you're doing great. And then the people that, like, by the time it was like their last song, the people that were actually sitting on those seats, which by the way were about 8 7-year-olds and like 4 adults who knew one of the people that work with 5 Sauce, so I was like really salty about that. And then they also happened to be sitting in front of me in Souncheck, and I had a fan that Z100 gave us that had Luke's face on it, and the woman goes, oh, is that the guy from the band? I was like, the guy from the band, you don't even know what they look like, but you're here because you got free tickets and they got to meet them? Oh my god, I was so salty about that whole thing. Actually, no one's sitting in like the 3rd row, and it was like next to like the catwalk. It was like one girl, and then me and Anya, we got to sit there for the whole concert basically. And I was so excited, and it was great, and there was some eye contact, and I was like, yes. And then I was like mostly on Callum's side, and then Luke came over a lot though, so I was so happy because like I said, I'm a Luke girl. And they were just so great and stuff. And there was this moment, I don't even remember what song it was in. I think it might have been Wrapped Around Your Finger. I don't remember what song it was. But I was just listening to the song, and then I was just like, I looked at Luke and I just realized like, oh my god, like, this is really happening. Like, I'm standing in front of the love of my life. Happened to look at me at that moment, and I just feel like, I don't know, like, I just started crying, and it wasn't even like sad. Like, I was just so happy. I was like, oh my god, it doesn't get better than this. The concert ended, and I was so sad. I cried almost every day because I've never had such horrible post-concert depression. I've been to so many concerts, literally, and I've never been this sad about one being over. It's amazing, and I'm so happy I got to go. So that was my concert experience. If you liked it, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe. This is like my 5th video, and this is my first like sit down talking video. So I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if you've ever met or seen concert or VIP experience, Souncheck, anything that has to do with 5 Seconds of Summer. Leave it in the comment section down below, and let me know who your favorite member is. Mine is Luke, but I also said that I have a very soft spot for Callum. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next week. And bye!
I never wanna be that guy.